Steel would snap. Therefore, it's not possible to build a space elevator using steel. We have to use what is called nanotechnology. Nanotechnology, like nanotubes, are strong enough, but they're not pure enough. We can build something called graphene. Graphene is like saran wrap. It is 1 atom thick. It is the strongest substance known to science. You can take an elephant, put an elephant on a pencil, balance the pencil on a sheet of graphene, and it will not tear. It is the strongest substance known to science, and it conducts electricity. Carbon that is 1 atom thick. And so we think that maybe, just maybe, decades from now, a space elevator would be the cheapest way of getting access into outer space. Well, we had a question that came in, so let me just read the question really quick. About the Goldilocks Zone. There is a Goldilocks Zone around the Earth. Our Earth, around the Sun, I'm sorry. If the Earth were too close to the Sun, the oceans would boil. If the Earth were too far from the Sun, the oceans would freeze. So we are, quote, just right from the Sun. Not too close, not too far. So that, therefore, we think that in outer space, there could be other Goldilocks zones. Planets that are not too close, not too far, but just right to have liquid water. And why liquid water? Liquid water is the universal solvent. It dissolves DNA. It is the amniotic fluid out of which we came from 3.5 billion years ago. And so right now we have cataloged about 2,000 planets orbiting other stars, and we now believe that we can take a census of the Milky Way galaxy. We now believe that perhaps 1 out of every 20 stars has an Earth-like planet. In other words, tonight when you look up, realize that our galaxy has perhaps 1 billion, with a B, 1 billion Earth-like planets. So in other words, when you look out at the night sky tonight, you will wonder if somebody is not looking back at you, wondering whether there is intelligent life on Earth. We all know the answer to that, right? No. Those are the U.S. Congress, right? No intelligent life on Earth. No way, okay? But then the other question is, if there is intelligent life on the Earth, how come they don't land on the White House lawn? How come they don't suddenly announce their existence? Hey, here we are, aliens from outer space, right? Well, realize that if they can reach us from outer space, they are very advanced, thousands of years ahead of us. And if you're walking down a country road and you see an anthill, do you go down to the ants and say, I bring you trinkets, I bring you beads, I give you nuclear energy, take me to your ant queen? Is that what you tell the ants? Or maybe you have the strange, politically incorrect urge to step on a few of them. Well, if they're that advanced, then perhaps we have nothing to offer them. We are so arrogant to believe that they're going to want to land on the White House lawn. What do we have to offer them if they are that advanced? Then the other question is, well, if they're out there, how advanced are they? Believe it or not, we physicists rank civilizations in outer space. A type 1 civilization is a civilization that's truly planetary. They control all power on the Earth. For example, the oceans, the weather, they control the weather. That's type 1. Type 2 exhausts the power of a planet and they become stellar. They actually control the energy output of the sun. And then type 3 is galactic. They roam across the galactic space lanes. So you can now rank science fiction movies on this physicist scale, like the Federation of Planets. The Federation of Planets in Star Trek would be type 2. They've colonized a tiny sector of the galaxy, and they can play with stars. That's Star Trek. Then Star Wars would be type 3, galactic, roaming the galactic space lanes. And then the question is, what are we? Are we type 1 that can change the weather at will, have cities on the ocean, control all planetary power? Are we type 2 that play with stars? Are we type 3 that play with black holes and the galaxy itself? No, we are type 0. We get our energy from dead plants. We can see the beginnings of a type 1 civilization. For example, what is the internet? The internet is the beginning of a type 1 telephone system. So we're privileged to be alive to see the birth of the first type 1 technology, the internet, which is a type 1 telephone system. And what language will this type 1 civilization speak in about 100 years? English, not French. English, because it's already the language of elites all across the world. Everywhere I go, I was in Zurich just 2 days ago, I'll be in Asia 3 days from now. Everywhere I go, everyone, all the elites all speak English. And so that will be the language of this type 1 civilization. And then one day I was giving this talk in London, and a little boy comes up to me, about 10 years old, real pest. He comes up to me and he yanks on my pants, and he says, "Professor, you're wrong. There's type 4. I was tempted to say to him, "Shut up, kid. Why don't you go play in traffic someplace?" But I didn't. I said to the kid instead, I said, "Look, kid, there are planets, stars, and galaxies. That's it. Planets, stars, and galaxies. Therefore, there should be type 1, type 2, and type 3 civilizations and not a space, period." And then he says, "No, Professor, there's type 4. And then I said, "Well, what is this type 4 civilization?" And then he said, "The power of the continuum." So who can tell me now, what is the only type 4 civilization on network television? Anyone know? It is the Cube. The only type 4 civilization on network television. What is their energy supply? Dark energy. Dark energy, the energy of the vacuum, the energy of nothing, which we now consume 73% of the universe. We, by the way, only occupy 4%. The world of atoms is only 4%. 96% of the universe is dark energy and dark matter, the power of the continuum. Watch Star Trek. So for those of you who did not understand what just transpired, get with the program. So every Tuesday night on network television, you can watch a type 4 civilization at work. Okay, well, I think I've run out of time, and those are the questions that I have chosen from the ones that were given to me. And so once again, it's been a real pleasure being here today, and I hope to come here again. I've been to Texas many times. Oh yeah, one last thing. The reason why I've been to Texas so many times is because Dallas was supposed to be the center of the physics universe. We were supposed to have a super collider outside Dallas, Texas, in Waxahachie. Instead, Congress, in its infinite wisdom, canceled it. Congress gave us $1 billion to dig a huge hole. We dug it. Congress then canceled the machine and gave us a second $1 billion to fill up the hole. I can't think of anything more full of wisdom than the wisdom of the U.S. Congress giving us $2 billion to dig a hole and fill it up. So where is the super collider today? A small version of it is in Switzerland, where I was just a few days ago. The Swiss, Geneva, is now the Vatican of physics. We lost one generation of physicists who could have been producing the next generation of computers and lasers and transistors. Instead, it's going to Europe because Congress canceled our machine. Now, in the last day of hearings of the cancellation process, one congressman asked a physicist, "What will we get with this machine, the super collider? Will we find God with this machine?" Well, the physicist didn't know what to say. He's never been asked that question before. So the physicist summoned all his eloquence, and he said, "Will we find God with this machine? I don't know, but we'll find the Higgs boson." Well, all the jaws hit the floor in the U.S. Congress. $10 billion for another darn subatomic article. And the vote was taken the next day, and the machine was canceled. Since then, we physicists have asked ourselves the question, how should we have answered that question? The next time someone says, "Will we find God with your machine?" what should we say? I don't know, but I would have said this. I would have said, God, by whatever signs or symbols you ascribe to the deity. This machine, the super collider to be built outside Dallas, Texas, will take us as close as humanly possible to his greatest creation, Genesis, the birth of the universe. This machine will help us to uncover the greatest secrets of the greatest creation of all time, the universe. Instead, we said Higgs boson, and our machine was canceled. Sorry about that. Okay, well, thank you very much. Once again, it's been a real pleasure. Go to eBay and make some money tonight.